Welcome back, Psychology 100 students. I'm using some new headphones today, so I don't know how well or poorly they're going to work, but hopefully they'll work okay. Let's start off with Chapter 14. You may be asking yourself, what the happened to Chapter 13? Well, if you look carefully at your course outline of course answers all kinds of questions that you could possibly consider. We're not covering Chapter 13. Right? Because it's bad luck. No, I was actually born on the 13th, and my mama said I was bad luck, but that's her opinion, right? No, we cut out Chapter 13 since the beginning of the semester because we only have so many weeks in the semester to cover chapters, and I had to cut out something. But if you get a chance, take a look at Chapter 13. It covers industrial organizational psychology, a very interesting topic. We won't be covering that on the exam. So we're going to jump ahead, I think, to a relevant topic, and I hope that you have an opinion on this topic, and it deals with stress, lifestyle, and health. Now, most of us are experts at this topic, primarily because we are living a very stressful life right now of uncertainty. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. Things will get better. I'm confident of that. Every day that goes by, I see some improvements. So let's talk about this topic, stress. What exactly is stress? Well, stress is really parts of the environment that play a role in producing a very specific kind of physiological response, right? It's our body's reactions, it's our psychological reactions to a variety of changes in our life. It doesn't have to necessarily be bad things, but we typically think of something stressful as negative. And of course, stressors are those environmental elements that produce those stresses in our life. Now, what's interesting to me is we always have people that say, wow, you make me so stressed. Whether it's a parent or whether it's a significant other or a sibling, right? But people really don't make you stressed. It's our reactions that really determine whether we get stressed or not. Now, they may know which buttons to push to get us react in that way, but we don't have to react that way. Now, one assessment that you may want to consider taking at some point, and I believe this is available online, something known as the social readjustment rating scale. What you do is you look at this list of elements and indicate any of them that may have occurred to you during the last 12 months. Now, you can't go back 13 months. It can only be within a 12-month time period. So you skip the things that don't apply to you, and you simply mark the things that do apply to you. And that'll give you assessment to see if your stress is little, mild, moderate, or high. I didn't ask you what you were. I said if your stress level is high. And most of us would think of our stress levels as high these days, but maybe not everybody. And maybe some of us are more stressed about certain things than others. Taking exams sometimes are stressful, right? Of course, we won't be taking an exam like this anytime soon, but they don't necessarily have to be stressful as long as you're prepared. And I try to de-stress all my students when it comes to their exams because I give you the answers in advance. And I think that is helpful. Now, as a reminder for exam 3, you're not going to have nearly a week to do it. You'll probably have about 2 to 3 days. I haven't quite decided exactly what the time frame will be, but I'll contact you via Canvas as well as via WebAdvisor, so you know exactly when the exam is posted, what the exam is. Again, as a reminder, if you don't have access to Canvas, it's not working, let me know and I'll just email you the exam itself when it comes up. Okay, what are some specific things that make us stressed these days? Well, being confined into a home, but having to move can be stressful. Even if you've moved to a nicer environment, right? It's bigger, it's safer, it has more advantages. You don't realize how much stuff you have until you decide to move. And then it becomes like, whoa, that's a lot of stuff, right? One of the stressors I heard recently was a bus driver who was really concerned about people getting on the bus without wearing masks these days. And I can understand his concern because you may be masked up, but if you have somebody who you have no idea if they're sick or not gets on board and they don't have any kind of protection, that's really kind of endangering all the other individuals as well as the environment, right? Now, I have to admit to you, I'm a little bit stressed because I don't know how this happened, but somebody took a picture of me recently. I don't know, they got into my neighborhood, they shot me through the window, exactly how they took the photo, but they took a picture of me that wasn't very flattering. And here's the picture. I'm going to show it to you right now. All right. So, how am I contributing to my own stress in this particular photo? Well, I'm a couch potato. I'm watching a sporting event, obviously pre-recorded some time ago. And instead of watching soccer, I should be playing soccer, right? I got a bunch of junk food. I'm drinking a bunch of pop, you guys call soda. I'm smoking. I'm clearly not living the lifestyle as a good Spider-Man should. So I guess I should thank the person who took that photo to inspire me to get my butt moving and get out there and exercise, but keep social distancing in mind, of course. So thank you. So my point being, we contribute a lot to our own stress. So what makes something stressful for one person, maybe not stressful to another person? Any event that requires a person to make any kind of change may produce stress. And as I mentioned before, even though the change might be good, it could be stressful. For example, those individuals who are transferring out after this semester to a new institution of higher learning, that might be a very good thing. But the uncertainty of what classes are going to be offered, how they're going to be offered, we have some students who have been accepted to institutions they haven't even got a chance to visit yet and may not be able to. So the key word, I think, is has the potential to be stressful, right? Has the potential to be stressful, not a guarantee. So what are we talking about? We're talking about negative or unpleasant events. Nobody likes bad things happening to them. We're talking about uncontrollable events. There's a lot of things in life we can't control, right? We would love to have the movie theaters open right now, but we don't have any control over that at this point. Or ambiguity. A lot of it is maybe. If we don't like that, we like yes or no. We like black or white. We don't like that shades of gray stuff. I'm not talking about the movie. For example, you're with your significant other, communicating with them either in person or via Zoom, right? Or FaceTime. And you ask them, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, or we've been together for a while. Do you love me? And they say, maybe. That produces stress, right? What do you mean, maybe? I need a clear cut answer. So, ambiguity, we don't do well. But again, we have a say as to how we react to these stressors, right? Now, I want to talk about one thing in particular today, and that is revolving around this gentleman right here. He's a Canadian. His name is Hans Selye. I didn't say Han Solo. That's somebody else. Hans Selye. What Selye wanted to do was he wanted to explore the world of stress. Specifically, what happens to our bodies physiologically when we get stressed? What exactly goes on inside our bodies? And so he broke it up into something called general adaptation syndrome. Right? General adaptation syndrome. And what he argued was that when we initially get stressed, our body goes into alarm where all our functionings kind of go out of whack, right? Heart rate increases, blood pressure increases, et cetera, et cetera. And then our body moves into resistance. And with resistance, we have this notion of being so overtaxed physically that our resistance to illness is reduced. And so we start getting sick. And then he moves it into exhaustion. And he argues that with sustained stress, we can be so wiped out. We can be so wiped out that we just literally collapse. And illness, or in some extreme cases, death. Here's another look at the pattern of how alarm, resistance, and exhaustion works. And this makes perfect sense to me. I don't know if any of you have ever been in a automobile accident. Those are scary. But let's suppose somebody cuts right in front of you and you slam your brakes, and luckily you don't hit the car in front of you and nobody hits you. But afterwards, you feel really weak. Your knees feel wobbly and you just want to get out of the car and just rest a little bit. You just had gas. No, I'm not talking about being burritos. I'm talking about general adaptation syndrome. Here's some of the, look at this woman. Does she look like she's got gas? I mean, these are some of the physiological things that can occur to you when you have gas. Now, we have to be very cognizant of general adaptation syndrome these days. Why? Because we're stuck. We're not getting about, right? An occasional trip to the grocery store to buy the necessities. If you have to go to the doctor, boy, you better have a really good reason. We just got an email that said, you cannot visit the campus unless it's a life-threatening issue. If you left your medicine in the office, that's the only reason it will allow you to go back to your offices. So I was like, wow, that's pretty serious, right? Good thing I took a picture of my office before I left. These are pretty stressful events. So gas is very effective in many cases for all of us right now. And we have to be very cognizant, and that's why I encourage you to go for that walk or watch that movie or listen to that quality music. I tracked how many songs I listened to a couple days ago, and it was like 86 songs in one day. And I was like, yes, my mood was good because for 86 times I heard something that I pre-selected that I consider one of my favorites, right? So with gas, we're responding to major life stressors and we're responding to the daily hassles every day. Now, I've had a lot of daily hassles. This is like day 25 of not being able to go to work and kind of being quarantined. Um, and a lot of the daily hassles are people leaving their gloves or masks just on the ground instead of throwing them away properly, or going and there's no toilet paper or paper towels. And fortunately, I found some this morning, right? And I had a coupon, so even better. So it's all a matter of our perspectives, how we put things in its proper place. You don't want to be like this person who is having all kinds of physical aches and pains that resemble COVID-19. But in essence, she's not really, she doesn't have COVID-19. She doesn't have coronavirus. What's happening to her is that she's stressed. And so that's why stressed people can feel it all over, right? Some people ache all through their body. Some people say, this tooth right here hurts. Or did you ever get the winking eye, the twitching eye? Always have to be careful with that because people will file a sexual harassment suit because he said he's always winking at me in class, and it's not that I'm winking at you. It's my stress. At least that's what I'll tell the judge. So take care. Don't contribute to your own stress. This is a facsimile of somebody in our class. I won't say who, but a lot of times we blame others for our stress, right? Why did I get that chapter in on time? Pedrosa, it's his fault. Well, be careful. Don't fall into the trap of procrastination. Take care, and we'll continue with chapter 14 in just a little bit.